Welcome to Carrorist Conversations, a show where we explore carrorism, the mindset, and having the courage to love your life. Hi, I'm Nasreen Amri, the founder of Carrorism.
And I am Fonde Bridges, the Carrorist spokesperson.
Well, welcome to Carrorist Conversations. This is Season 2, Episode 2.
Yay!
And today we're going to be talking about the Carrorist Mindset Principle number 2.
All right.
Yeah, which is the collaboration narrative. So before we get into that, we're going to choose a healthy word of the day.
Okay, I think you're going to pick it and I'm going to look up the definition, right?
Yeah.
Excellent.
And it's like a little fun thing that we do is we try and encourage each other to use the word throughout the episode. It's a great way to
What
carrorize.
word did you pick? Is that truthful?
It's truthful, yes.
Fun. The other great thing is it's super exciting to expand, like just to activate parts of your vocabulary that have maybe gone dormant, you know? So Googling truthful real quick here. Let's see what the definition of truthful is. Truthful. I have as an adjective, telling or expressing the truth. Honest. Also, from an artistic standpoint, I've never heard this one, characterized by accuracy or realism. True to life. Yeah, I love that. It's interesting because... one of the synonyms, and this is one of the things I definitely think, I was talking to my daughter the other day, she brought it up about how valuable synonyms are. So I'm just going to say a couple of synonyms, which are honest, sincere, trustworthy, and genuine. Truthful. Loving it. All right.
All right, great. Well, we might even use one of those synonyms.
Well, maybe we could have a truthful conversation about the collaboration narrative and how valuable that is.
Yes. Okay. So in order to really get into the collaboration narrative, we have to touch a little bit on the conflict narrative.
Sure.
So perhaps some of you have heard of the conflict narrative. And really, typically... conflict is like a major theme in any literary narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And so they'll frame the story like man versus man versus self, man versus nature, there's man versus society. No, well, there's typically four, but then a few more have evolved, like man versus technology, which is like in sci-fi movies. That's kind of fun.
Cool.
But, we may experience like some conflict in our lives. But the truth is that we're all the authors of our lives.
Yeah, the authority of your own existence.
Yeah, of our lives and of our experiences. And so when you frame your life, your narrative with collaboration, you're granted a greater freedom and opportunity to create what you desire in your life with ease. And it also eliminates unnecessary pain, which is...
unnecessary conflict.
Yeah, always a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loving that.
So for me personally, one of the things, like an example that I'll give would be like, I love to take daily meditative walks.
You do.
And I'll do like whatever it takes to go after them. So that would be like man versus nature. And then if we applied the conflict narrative, it's the collaboration narrative to that, it would be man with nature, right? So when I would go out and venture around, I used to feel sometimes or often that I was being like terrorized by nature, or like nature was against me, the elements of nature. Like if it was too cold, I'd be like, wow, I don't think I can walk today. Or if it was too hot, I'd be like, I think I might get sunburned, so on and so forth. But by applying the collaboration narrative to my story, I'm like, wow, I'm really working with nature.
Okay.
And so maybe I just need to grab some sunscreen, or maybe
a hat. Some
yeah.
gloves.
Right. Exactly.
It's interesting when you talk about that. I think about the nuance of shifting one word. It's man or woman or human with, as opposed to someone verse.
Right.
Like shifting up that subtle language transforms everything. And For me, where I get excited is that when you think about any of these relationships of collaboration, one of the things that I love the most is that it's, if we're looking at, because you're going to talk a little bit more about man versus himself, right?
Yeah, sure. I got tons of examples.
So I was going to talk a little bit about man versus man, and really thinking about, in a very small way, how it's really the most exciting relationships are when we work together. And when we're versus each other, I get it. I understand. There are countless stories of conflict. Yet, there is something really powerful and gorgeous about our collaborative spirit. And you can find it in as subtle as the making of this cup, to the table, to the phone that is making the recording, to the nail polish that will go on my toes later that you all don't know anything about.
Truth. That's very truthful.
But it's a collaborative effort, and creativity and conjuring and manifesting and materializing outcomes. And I'm not even going to get into the conflict narratives. I just think that when we start looking at what can we do when we are working with each other, it gets really exciting. And I think for everyone who practices the Carrorist Mindset, you are looking for opportunities to collaborate with everything on the planet. Everything.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking for. So I love this one. It always grants me. I'll tell you what the word that I would think of. I love healthy words. Here's what I'm gonna end with this point. The collaboration narrative grants you opportunities, where I sincerely believe the conflict narrative limits them.
Yeah, that's true.
So I just want to say that if you approach every single relationship with how do I collaborate? And you may say, well, okay, me and this person, maybe one of the collaborations is that you and that person need distance. You may not see that as a collaboration, but for me, I recognize creating even distance collaborates on generating understanding, creating boundaries. So there's so many elements to collaboration. So I just want to say there's opportunity in collaboration, and I just find it to be one of the most beautiful and remarkable points, because I did for so long carry a spirit of conflict, looking for conflict. As an African-American male, I assumed there was always going to be conflict. I will tell you that as a spirit on this planet, I am seeking collaboration with all of you and everyone. So that's what I got.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Thanks
for sharing.
Yeah.
That was very truthful. Your truth. I appreciate it, actually. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Maybe the healthy word just conjured all that
Yeah,
truthfulness out of
I
it. Gave me
so.
a very authentic experience. I
Yeah.
really don't want to share much about myself personally, but it felt normal and natural and necessary.
Well, I mean, and that's a great bridge to one of my other examples, which is human versus themselves, right? So applying the collaboration narrative, that would be, working with yourself.
Yeah.
And I used to experience extreme bouts of loneliness and feeling disconnected, and that would create tons of conflict. Felt like I was fighting myself internally, constantly fighting myself. But by applying the collaboration narrative, or really seeing that I'm working with myself, I'm working with nature, I'm working with others, it definitely reduces pain, but also allows me to feel connected and whole. And I feel now like I'm working with my mind, my body, and my heart to achieve all that I desire in this world. So,
can I ask you a quick question? Just listening to this conversation, knowing you pretty well, thinking about how carrorism, the idea, spawned for you. Mm-hmm. Would you say that you had a spirit at one point, because you brought this up, would you say that it was conflict in nature because you felt like you terrorized yourself?
Definitely. Yeah.
Is that real? Is that a pretty good assessment? Well, I mean, that's conflict, right?
Yeah,
to terrorize oneself.
Yes. And, well, we're all nature, so if you're in conflict with yourself, I guess then, you know what I mean? Like, used to terrorize myself with, I guess, unhealthy words, right? I say
ideas
that all the time. And ideas and beliefs,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as we often do.
And that feels conflict oriented because, I really work hard on just to your, because I know how we got to carrorism. I know how you became a carrorist, how I became a carrorist. And it stems from this spirit of seeking to be kind and loving towards yourself and others. And I can tell you, I've made some mistakes. I've done some things that I'm not necessarily proud of. And I can be hard on myself. I can be unforgiving for some of my choices. Yet, in the spirit of collaboration with myself, I felt the first thing I had to find was forgiveness. And in order to create collaboration, right, I had to acknowledge that I have shortcomings and I'm going to make mistakes, and I need to be okay with that in order for our collaboration, me and myself, to move forward. And
another thing that just came to my mind in thinking about, because people are like, well, there really is conflict. And it's like, yes, you're going to experience conflict
for sure.
On your journey on this earth. But when you start off in a position of collaboration, then you do have a lot more opportunities and, like I said, greater ease and freedom to create what you desire. And even if you take it to another step, you could see that the conflict that does come your way, or people come at you with a spirit of conflict, you could see it as an opportunity to collaborate with them and yourself and be like, maybe I just need to practice, maybe I just need to practice patience or forgiveness or some other things, and maybe it's like a sparring partner at that.
And you know what? So what's beautiful about these 8 principles that we practice with the Carrorist Mindset is that they all lean on each other. They all lend to each other. So, for example, if you do have a negative thing that comes your way and you're thinking about the conflict narrative, if you're really practicing these principles, the thing that's going to show up that I know for sure is that you are going to see adversity and uncertainty as an ally. You're going to see this negativity as an ally. And so it is collaborating with you.
Right. You're working with it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So do you have more to say about this for today? Because
Right
I know we have more episodes to come, and I'm pretty excited to introduce the
Carrorist quote of the day?
Carrorist quote of the day. And it's, you know what I want to say is that when I first read it, I was in such a spiritual high. Is really what I think, is that I felt like, wow, this is amazing. But when I listened to it, when I read the quote again, I was like, wow, this is kind of basic and simple. However, in its simplicity, it is, it's remarkable. So here's the quote. Are you good with that?
Yeah.
Right now we're good? Okay.
Excited. Let's go.
When you need to innovate, you need collaboration. Now, I know that sounds basic, but what I want to say is that if you really understand what innovation is, which is generating something new, then you can really start to celebrate. Because let me say something. Everything was new at some point. Everything that humans have made was an innovation at some point. So you've been benefiting from the collaboration of innovation your whole life.
Yeah.
It is exciting for me to think about the notion that there are more and better and greater things to come, and that there is a spirit of humanity that seeks to see that innovation, that new thing, that benefit occur due to collaboration. Now, as you know, someone said that. See if you can guess who it is. I don't think you can. You challenged me not to just go throughout time and history and space. You told me not to, begin at the Big Bang, but to look for people who may actually be alive today. So I did that.
Okay.
I went out on the earth. Okay, I was on the computer, but felt like I was on the earth. And so, I am on the earth.
Most of the time, yeah.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. So this individual was born in 1975. And
that's a good year.
That's my year. I didn't even know she was born that year. As a matter of fact, based on what I'm about to tell you, I feel like I need to step my game up.
Okay, so she's
in
a
an
female.
aggressive way.
Okay.
Oh, that's new.
Thanks for the clue.
Is that a clue? Did you get that? Okay.
Thank you.
I just said that by accident, but okay. Born in 1975 in Wausau, Wisconsin. This investor and co-founder of Sunshine Contact was once the chief executive officer and president of Yahoo. I feel like that's like I gave it away. I feel like I gave it away telling everyone that because that's like a Google moment.
Okay.
In high school, she was the captain of the debate team the year they won the state championships. So she's super intelligent and she will debate you well. She's going to get her points across. She attended Stafford University in the late 90s. Mm-hmm. She built a travel recommendation software. Now, right now, I feel like everybody's like, that's just normal. But in 1990s, that was not normal. We were still using like dial internet in the 90s.
Yeah.
So she was working with AI and she built travel recommendation software that advised humans in a natural sounding human voice. So she was pioneering AI technology in the 90s. I mean, it's 2021 right now. Mm-hmm. So let's just say for at least a quarter of a century, she's had her hands on developing how we interface with technology. She specialized in AI. She graduated with degrees in symbolic systems, which I didn't Google it. I wanted to Google it, but I was like, that seems like a rabbit hole.
Right.
Like I might get caught up and then I'll be like wanting to spend the next 3 years of my life learning about symbolic systems.
Like hieroglyphics?
Yeah, it felt like that to me. Okay. It felt like that. Symbolic systems and computer science. Currently, she actually holds patents in AI and interface design. So, I wish I knew what those patents are. But what I will say, when we say currently, her current net worth is $620 million. So I'm not sure what those patents do or what she said in those debates at the office. But it all turned out financially well for her. She's got 3 kids and a wonderful husband. She also joined Google after college in 99. She became the president and, like I said, chief executive officer in 2012 of Yahoo. 5 years later, she leaves and she starts her own company and she's an investor. She's on the boards of a lot of nonprofits, but also she's on the board of Walmart, which makes me think that at some point the AI technology of Walmart means that we don't even have to ask for the items. They just will appear at your door.
Yeah.
Because the artificial intelligence will have studied you well.
Right. You
can knows what you need.
Throw stuff in your cart and walk out and probably will scan your credit card.
Well, I'm thinking like you could just almost type in things in your Google search and they appear at your house.
Perhaps.
I'm looking for that. I'm looking for like, because you know what happens now, right? You've experienced it. I've experienced it. You're in a conversation with a friend. You Google something in your phone. All of a sudden, when you're on like YouTube, it's like, no, for real, you do want those socks.
Right, like right after we're talking about something, it pops up.
Right, yeah. So I'm thinking, a little AI, a little bit of Walmart. All of a sudden, when I wake up in the morning, it's better than Christmas. It's like Santa Claus. He knows what I want. Santa knows what I want. How much better AI?
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
So.
Do you want to know who this person is?
Big moment.
Her name is Marissa Meyer. All right. And I know it sounds quiet and gentle, Marissa Meyer, but if you look her up, she is a powerhouse of AI, of all things Google, Yahoo, all things that are brilliant and magnificent on this planet. And like I said, she's born the same year as me, and she has $620 million. I would take a millionth of that today.
Well,
which is like
definitely with
$620.
applying the collaboration narrative, I think.
If I could get a millionth of her income today, that would be great.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that Carrorist quote.
Yeah.
Can you say it one more
yes,
time?
Yes. When you need to innovate, you need collaboration.
Right. Thank you.
When you need it, though. And that's what I thought was powerful and profound. So that's what I got for...
I feel like sometimes when I feel like I don't need to collaborate, I really do, or I really am collaborating. I think that's why I love it so much. It's like, just even taking these hoodies, for example, it's like all the collaboration that goes into it. Yeah, from the color dye to the shipping to the so on and so forth. Right?
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And thanks for tuning in again to another Carrorist Conversations.
Are we done? Is it over? Episode 2 is done? Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you all for tuning in. We sure appreciate it.
Yeah, remember to subscribe and like and carrorize yourself with some merch.
Yes. Hey, yeah. What? That's a cup.
And remember to follow your heart so you can have a life you love and keep on carrorizing.